Good morning. Today, all over the world, there are going to be seminars and speeches. There are going to be rallies. And the people are going to say and celebrate International Women's Day. We would see matronly ladies talking like, what shall I say, the epitomes of knowledge. We shall see the politicians haranguing the people. We shall see young, dainty damsels shouting at the top of their voice, claiming that they are equal to men, rather better than men, which they are. But the whole jamboree, whole idea of the celebration of International Women's Day is not bad. But is it worthwhile just celebrating the way it's done? I wouldn't think so. We always say something and do exactly another. And when we say International Women's Day, we are paying lip service to saying that women are equal and even better than men are. But while the ancients claimed that they are equal and better and put it into practice, we don't do that. Do you know that the Romans and the Greeks preferred female soldiers? Alexander the Great had a female army of itself because they were better cavaliers. And Cleopatra had female soldiers and female generals. She herself was a great. So there was equal army of men and women in the old Greece and old Roman Empire. In India also we had seen the same thing. But today, I was shocked. Honestly, I was shocked when I read the report that it will take 1,000 years for men and women to be equal in South Asia. That is not to say that the conditions are better in this part of the world. That means in the West. Whether it is men, South or West or East or North, women are nowhere near the men. In USA, there are just 66 women for every 100 men in leadership and managerial positions. In top 100 companies, 89% of the executive committee jobs are held by men. And yet we say we have one Noori, and we say, wow, women are at the top. It's not. Let's look at the reality. And the reality, as I said, is the Middle East, according to that report, would not see equality for next 365 years. And East Asia Pacific will take 111 years. Even Sub-Sahara Africa will take 60 years. But South Asia will take 1,000 years. The last countries where the gender equality can ever take place are Pakistan and Syria. Now, who is the best then? Amazingly, Iceland is number one as far as the gender equality is concerned, followed by Finland, Norway and Sweden. And do you know the fourth country? The country whom we all love to criticize, country we take to be a sign of a failed country, Rwanda. That is the fourth country in the world having women at par with men. So Iceland is the best. But even there, the gender gap is. Now come to the other side. We say that we are progressing about equality. We are not. Today the gender gap is 59%. It is higher than it was in the beginning of the millennium. So what's the process? Where's the progress? You know, we have been saying all the time, women are great, and we say that they are great to exploit them. Men are like that. I smiled when Prime Minister Trudeau had a cabinet in which men and women were of the same number. Somebody asked him why. Because it's 2015. And the people forgot that in this very country, there are at least a large number of women who are exploited. The white flesh traffic from East Europe is increasing by 23%. When the white flesh traffic increases, the black and blue and the brown are immaterial because white are the protected lot. And secondly, we are very proud of saying that India was the first country to have a women governor. We were the first to give them the right to vote in the whole world. But how many women have sold today as chattel sold the Middle East? The Saudi boy sheikhs come, buy young pre-teenage girls to add to their harem. We might rescue one or two. Look at Punjab, where the female feticide is a fashion. If you have not committed a female feticide, you are looked down upon possibly by the other women because you're going to give birth to a woman. It's not giving women or striving to give women equal ministerial jobs that is important. It is to ensure that they are respected as human beings. And are they respected as human beings? That's the most important thing. Secondly, we have created an aura when the women take pleasure in being exploited. There was a time in India when sati was revered, and women were very proud to become satis. That means they would burn themselves alive when the husbands died. They were treated as goddesses. That was a cultural practice. That was a religious practice. Thanks to the efforts of two men, Raja Ram Mohan Roy and William Bentinck, the then Governor General of India, that this practice was banned. But it exists even today. I remember a few years back, I was sitting in the office of the Chief Secretary of Rajasthan, Arvind Mayara, and a call came on wireless that a woman, Roop, was going to burn herself, and the people had surrounded the pyre and nobody was going to let the police go in to rescue. And Arvind Mayara was still thinking what to do. I picked up the phone, called the brigade commander in Jaipur and told him that, okay, we are sending the written order request, but you please march your army and don't care, rescue that woman. It was the army's intervention at our specific request that the woman was rescued. And she didn't want to be rescued. She thought that her rights are being trampled. The same what is happening with hijab. Very highly educated women say that they wear a hijab out of their volition. That it's a mark of respect, it's a mark of culture practice. Because their minds have been conditioned to that. It's the same way, wearing hijab and considering it sacrosanct is, I think it's similar to the practice of sati. All the women who became sati and who become sati even today were convinced that they were receiving or reaching a semi-divine status. That semi-divine status prompted them to commit sati. They might have been treated like worse than slaves and animals in their lifetime by the cruel husband. But when the husband died, then they had to immolate themselves. The same is about these women. When they talk of the culture practice, it was a culture practice, but we removed it. So, I'm not saying enforce it, but then educate people. International Women's Day would have a meaning in case we can educate people and we can ensure equal opportunity. We have also got to change the mindsets by bringing in the same number of women in cabinet. It's not even symbolical when we know that the native Canadian women are being exploited like anything. They are being murdered every day and there's no noise. Some well-meaning NGOs do make a noise, but that's all. When we know that human traffic is increasing, when we know that women are paid less than the men, when we know that when an interview takes place and there are two candidates, we are likely to select the male rather than the female, and we select the female for the jobs like receptionist and things like that, where we want to have a nice face. I know people are going to call me sexist further, but that's a fact. Until and unless we open our eyes to the reality, until and unless we are instinctively going to respect them. So International Women's Day would have a meaning when we have changed our mindsets, when we have ensured that the myths no longer work. As I told you, the same religion, Islam, which hijabs is ordained to be cultural practice, it was a woman, Khadija, who ensured Muhammad that the voices coming to him were indeed from God, and it was her help, her intellectual support that enabled Muhammad to overcome his own doubts. You know, we have been having harmful myths about the limit to which the women can work. They are better than we are. We also have a myth that women groups are not necessary for economic growth. I have written an article today in which I have delineated 7 myths which have got to be busted. But the most important thing is that we have got to wake up. Wake up to the fact that whether it's so-called developed north or developing, or rather galloping South Asia or resurgent Africa, until and unless our minds change, International Women's Day celebration would remain just a matter of talk. I have yet to see a concrete result. When he said that we will have equal members in the cabinet, did he give equal number of tickets or nominations for women to contest the elections? No. You see, instinctively, we make reservations, we have mental reservations, and we make a show of our love and regard for the opposite sex. It's in fact, as I said earlier, nothing more than a camouflage to hide our insidious thoughts. As a matter of fact, we are aware of the facts that in case women have the same status as the males have, then they would outclass males in whatever they do because they are better workers. Their dedication is much more. So that being so, what do? A, educate men that their male ego has no relevance, that being a male chauvinistic pig, as most of them are, is a matter of past. That just gender is no issue at all. Second is, educate women that the so-called hypocrisy that has been exalting them to the semi-divine level. In some cultures, like in India, you know, there's a saying in India where women are worshipped. That is a heaven. They don't need worship. They don't need reverence. They need equality and recognition as equal human beings. Once that recognition comes to them, you can be sure that the International Women's Day need not be celebrated. We have to celebrate it not in holding seminars and workshops. We have to celebrate in celebration of women. Women as human beings. Women as breadwinners. Women as co-workers. Women as leaders. Women as equal partners in progress. If that is there, then of course it has some meaning. Otherwise it's just a mirage to mislead women and to exalt your own ego. Thank you.